The portrayal of dinosaurs in media has often not fully utilized the true horror of these prehistoric creatures. In my opinion, the closest we've gotten to showing this in movies is the raptors in the kitchen scene from Jurassic Park and the Spinosaurus in general from Jurassic Park 3. However, the horror is most utilized in the form of video games. Games such as Dino Crisis, Trespasser, The Isle, 1916, if any of you remember that game, really captured the experience of being forced to survive against creatures out of time. However, we don't really get dinosaur horror anymore. Movies now choose to focus on the spectacle and action instead of the unease and horror they once emphasized. And dinosaur games nowadays are either park builders or open world survival games. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with focusing on these things. I personally love seeing dinosaurs fight, and I think Fallen Kingdom balanced the spectacle and horror with the Indoraptor, but that's a topic for another video. My point is, I wish there was more emphasis on the panic and dread that occurs when placing these creatures in modern day settings. So when I saw that a new game was making rounds on TikTok that was both horror and also dinosaur related, I was really excited.
Oh, maybe he unlocked... Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me, dude. That's a skull. He unlocked this.
Hello everyone, my name is Jakub, and today I am going to discuss the game Unknown Tapes. The game is a linear horror exploration game with dinosaurs. The game's description on Steam cites Outlast and Dino Crisis as its main inspirations. The game is developed by Travis Team Games and only very recently fully released. The game follows you, Travis Kahn, attempting to uncover the mystery behind your father's death. Along the way, you discover a secret research laboratory and prehistoric nightmares stalking the grounds. The game's concept is really cool, even if it isn't original. The game is relatively short, only taking 3 hours at the max, and is something you can knock out in a day. However, that is really all the praises I have left for the game. The game isn't really all that well executed, and to find out why, we must view the Unknown Tapes. The game begins with exposition. Basically, a video camera was found with footage on it containing the secrets of the dinosaur research laboratory. The footage is our gameplay. The game actually begins with you waking up after a helicopter crash. Why was there a crash? How did you survive? Plot? Who knows? The ambience in this section is actually pretty unnerving, I will give the game that, and the distant sounds of the dinos are also pretty eerie.
I hear stuff, bro. It's the game hasn't even officially...
But this is the last moment I felt any sort of fear. The game prompts you to check your backpack. Upon doing so, you're greeted with a note. Basically, your dad is dead and he worked at a place called the ARU Research Center. Your dad was killed in a quote-unquote accident and his death was covered up. You recently became a reporter and with the help of a military pilot you know, attempt to sneak into the ARU Research Center.
Today is the 2nd anniversary of your passing dad, thanks for reminding me, and I still don't even have a body to cry over.
So you continue on and find a road. Next to the road is a door with a keypad. First issue with the game, the flashlight. I don't know how, but so many indie horror games just make incorrect use of their flashlight. This flashlight is so bright, I cannot read anything on the walls because it instantly blinds me. However, the flashlight also sucks. It only illuminates a little bit in front of you and not enough to properly see. The game is also very dark, so it's not like you can play without it. But anyways, you're prompted to open the journal, which basically functions to remind you of what you need to be doing. The road is littered with blood and a dead guy, alongside a note. The note explains to you that a guy named Dave lost the code to the door and that the code is in the warehouse. Second issue. This game's only way of feeding you information is through notes. And it's not like the notes are instructions put out by the company, it's written by a person. Who is this Eric guy writing to? Who would see this? Why is he detailing so much information about Dave and the code? I know it's meant for us to read, but make it make sense. It's just a note, not even an email or a reminder. So you continue on and the game will randomly make noises. Phil just Sparty.
Dude, is there something on the gates? Is there something stalking me?
Also, I am being critical of this game, but this genuinely did scare me.
Why is it all the way out here? It's so...
Once you get to this little warehouse, you collect the code and an audio tape. After collecting them, the first enemy of the game spawns.
ARU 7203. Okay, well something's out there now. I hear it. Okay.
Meet the Raptor, my worst enemy. Not because they're scary, but because they are annoying. They are everywhere in the game, and they are basically made to slow you down. You can easily counter them with bad stealth, but it makes this game longer because you have to crouch and walk slower. So eventually you dodge the Raptor and have to sneak right behind him. He somehow doesn't notice, and we continue on. We go to the door, enter the code, and enter the building. Here, we encounter a safe that we need another code for. We also get a document detailing the game's version of a Velociraptor. Basically, the raptor is blind and deaf and can only see and hear directly in front of it. We also get a cassette player so that we can listen to that sweet, juicy lore.
It is January 51, 1998. Incredible, really. I managed to isolate that D1 anthem for the first time. This will bring incredible advances in research. I'm very happy. They decided to entrust me with the security codes of various devices the day before yesterday. Is it possible they should take care of it? What a drag.
You tell him, bro.
Now, I'm not one to hate on voice actors, but come on. Was that really the best take? And I know this person's native language is not English, and I'm not blaming them for that, but you can still read a foreign language with some emotion and not sound like you're reading off a script. For example, I don't know how to speak German, but if you told me how to phonetically sound out everything and what tone to read it in, I could probably give a decent performance. It wouldn't be an award-winning performance, but I wouldn't sound like I got my line the previous minute. You move on and find another note, this time telling about the construction of another complex on the other side of the lake. And for some reason, Dave likes to relax there. The note also tells of Dave doing something bad in the underground complex. You move on and find a body and a hallway.
We are all dead. Well, quite the contrary. You are dead. I'm alive.
The hallway leads to a door, but it's locked, so you need to go the other way. You walk into an open space with some foreshadowing and another audio tape.
March 5, 1998. The research was successful. The government would have even founded the T1 project if it weren't for those incompetent managers. They don't understand anything. I think they also want to take me out. Well, they don't know that I already started doing my own thing in the underground complex. You will see, assholes.
Okay.
You explore around the area more before a disembodied voice belonging to the tape guy, Dave, explains that he'll help you and be seeing you soon.
There is...
Apparently one bastard survived. You can't seem to proceed. This time I help you. We'll see each other soon.
We never see him again. We hear him in audio tapes, but we never see Dave. What was the point of this? I thought this guy was going to be a constant in the game, talking to us over the intercom system and ultimately betraying us, but no, he never shows up again. Why? So anyways, we move on, and the thing from the clip I showed you happens.
Okay, I know what's about to happen, so I'm not even gonna, sugarcoat it. Jesus Christ. I'm so fucking stupid, dude. How did that... I quite literally just said I knew it was coming and that still got me. Fuck you. What even was that, dude? What even was that?
So we continue on and have to move past the lake. In the middle of crossing the lake, we find a pig.
Okay, there's a pig. That pig is going to die.
This dude is just here for no reason. He just kind of looks around. So you move and find a field of plants. Upon entering, you are greeted with this.
Okay. So we're doing a cornfield. Okay.
You move and go towards a building. There you find another audio tape.
Okay, I feel safe in here.
It's July 18, 1998. I fooled you, idiot. You wanted to get rid of me, and I said I got rid of you. The results of those experiments will never be yours. Never. Never. Try to fool me now. Oh, that's right. You can't. Because you probably are already dead. If this RD is ever heard by anyone, well, now that the safe located in front of the entrance to the underground complex is 0936.
You head upstairs and find another copy. You find another document with details about the copy. Note the final line. Very small size and non-lethal if alone, lethal if in a group. That implies at some point you will have to survive multiple compies. You don't. The compy appears another time after this and never again. Why put that line in there if they never show up again? So you venture on and head upstairs where you find another note. The note says to go along the sidewalk in the plant area and follow the directions posted around. Traversing along the sidewalk are more raptors, but they are super easy to dodge. You walk along the fence, flip a switch, and get a code. After traversing back, you go down to the underground complex entrance and open the safe. Inside is a single document telling you there's a Spinosaurus. I say telling instead of detailing because it only tells you basic facts. There's a reason why. So now you head back to the first building, but before you traverse the lake again, your flashlight starts failing all of a sudden. Why? Because the game said so. There was no battery meter, and it was working fine before, so there really is no reason for it to be going out other than we need it to. As you begin walking across the lake again, we find the pig dead.
Oh. Oh, they colored a part of him black. Oh, rest in peace, my dude. Gone but never forgotten.
You head back in and head over to the safe, unlock it, and get the code for the underground complex. Suddenly, your flashlight dies and a raptor walks in. You literally just watch it walk away and head out. You go into the bathroom and pick up a photo, which in turn causes a raptor to enter the bathroom for some reason. I died many times here.
Okay.
The game offers no instructions at any point, not just here. The game is very linear in design, but because the game never tells you what your current main objective is, you basically just have to guess what you do. Don't get me wrong, it's very easy to guess, but in situations like this, it can lead to confusion and frustration. So you're supposed to hide in this corner and sneak out. The door will then be slammed shut and you have to run outside. Once outside, you cross the lake until suddenly...
Okay. That's not good. That's really not good. Okay. Hey, can you fucking help me?
So this random helicopter comes and distracts the Spino. Like, that's all it does. He doesn't attack it or lead it away, just shines a flashlight at it. Who is piloting this helicopter? Our presumably pilot friend is burning to a crisp right now, so who is this? Is this our pilot friend? Were there two helicopters? Why didn't they rescue us? Why aren't they trying to rescue us right now? Anyways, you sneak past the Spinosaurus and never see him again. Yeah, arguably one of the coolest dinosaurs, and this is all he does. So, you head back to the underground complex, enter the code, and enter the underground complex. And I would just like to talk about the last 50 minutes of gameplay. You walk and collect codes. Nothing else. You find a keypad, find the code, enter the code, find a safe, look for the code, find instructions telling you how to get to another code that you need, find said code, find another safe, enter the code, find the code to the first safe, enter the code, find the code to another keypad, find the keypad, enter the code. That's it. This isn't good, interesting, or fun gameplay. This is just the same fetch quest over and over. And this game doesn't have to have the most complex gameplay I've ever seen in order to be fun, but it does have to shake it up every now and then. Since it's fresh on my mind, take the classrooms. Technically, yes, every level is basically a fetch quest, but the first level is not the same as the last. You find and do different things that vary each level from the last. Spoiler alert, this level is basically the same as the final one. Travel to a location to get something for another location, which in turn grants you something for the first location. This is my main gripe in this game, and it really soiled the whole game for me. So after entering the underground complex, you walk some and find several documents, all informing you about the next few dinosaurs you're going to meet. You also obtain a sound detector. It's supposed to warn you whenever a dinosaur is near, but it doesn't work. Like the whole game. It never goes off once. You also find a note that tells about how this guy, named Alan, is throwing a party at his house where a level 1 magnetic keycard is. You need the keycard to enter this checkpoint, so you head upstairs back to the surface. On the surface is a map, and apparently there is a whole city next to the research center. This game informs you that before they all escaped from the underground complex, there were a few sightings of them in the city. However, everyone took them as rumors and just made up stories. Anyways, you walk through the city, passing several raptors, and eventually make it to the house. Also, side note, I'm rewatching this footage back, and I just realized this game never tells you what ARU stands for. How do you never tell the players what your own fake organization stands for? What could it even stand for? Ancient Research University? This game pisses me off. So you grab the keys to the gate off the ground and open the gate. Then you have to go around the house and grab the keys from the doghouse for literally no reason, and then you can head inside. However, once you enter, you are greeted with... So yeah, this game listens to your mic for certain sections. Now, not to compare this game with the classroom so much, but this game really showcases how this function can fall flat on its face. Classrooms utilized it by making almost every enemy sensitive to sound, and the ones that weren't relied on something equally as important. The game has you sneak around the Dilophosauruses, which are extremely sensitive to sound, and grab whatever you need in the house. But the Dilos aren't scary. They aren't patrolling the house, they don't have a set path, they literally just stand there. You can so easily dodge them, it's not even funny. I later find out that this thing doesn't even work. It's supposed to track your footsteps as well as your mic, but it only tracks your mic. And it is extremely easy to just not talk. So you head inside the house and the power turns off. That'll be important for later. You enter a room and there you'll find a note from a kid detailing how dinosaurs are fake, he lost Alan's key card at school, and some kids put keys to enter the school in his backpack to prank him. Sick prank. So we sneak past the Dilo and head upstairs. There we find out that there is a can of fuel to power the generator to the house outside in a truck. So you go all the way back outside, collect the fuel, refuel the generator, and go back inside. And nothing changes after this. The Dilo still stay in place and never move. Furthermore, this house is solely powered by this generator. And I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, that's just the backup generator. No, it's not. This game quite literally states that this is the main power to the house. Why? This is a house in a city. Why is there no power grid? All it would have taken for this to make sense is to call this a backup generator. But they make it clear that this is the main power to the house and they constantly have to refuel it. So you go back inside, enter the super secret door, and get the keys to the school. You also find out that Alan created a chemical compound capable of killing every single dinosaur. So you go back downstairs until suddenly you encounter the Allosaurus. Now, back in the underground complex, we found a document detailing how the Allosaurus is incredibly dangerous and is practically invisible in the dark. So the Allosaurus bursts into the house and walks right past us. So we move on and head towards the school. We encounter some more dinos on the way, but nothing some bad stealth won't solve. So we walk into the school, and confession time. I paused the recording to go eat. When I came back, I forgot to press record again.
Oh my god. What was it all for, bro? Good thing it was only about a minute of progress. Okay, well.
You didn't miss much. I only walked into one room, but a Dilophosaurus hopped through some glass and ran past me. It did not scare me. So you open the quote-unquote janitor's closet and are greeted to a stairwell.
This is the janitor's closet? This is the janitor's closet. What? This isn't a closet. This is a stairwell. This isn't a closet. This is a stairwell.
The Dilo stealth is back. You move past them and walk into this room that is shooting flames. To turn off the flames, you need to put a valve on this pipe. The valve is where the Dilo is, so how are you going to possibly lead the Dilo away? You don't. The game lures it away by itself. He hears something and just walks away. No skill or challenge is required here. You just mosey along the level and everything falls into place for you. You grab the pipe, reattach it, turn off the flames, and head up these stairs. You go into a random room, grab the keycard, and attempt to head down the stairs. I say attempt because the Dilo decides to do its job and actually look for you. So you go into this kitchen, set an egg timer, and lure it away so you can go back into the stairwell and out the other end. However, upon exiting the closet, the lights for some reason turn off and a Carnotaurus is now in the building. The Carno is dangerous because it is incredibly sensitive to light, so you're unable to use your flashlight around it, or so they say. You move past the Carno and leave the school rather easily. Afterwards, you now have to traverse through the park all the way back to the underground complex. You walk outside and encounter a Tyrannosaur. Now inside the house, we saw a document that detailed the Rex. Any subtle movement, light, or anything of the sort will result in them instantly killing you. They are described as very dangerous. It just walks past you. It doesn't stop or anything. It just ignores you completely. So littered throughout the streets are more Carnos. You think the light sensitivity would come into play here, but the area is pretty well lit. Even in the dark, I could see without using my flashlight. So you move past the Carnos, dodge a raptor, and carry on. Alongside the grass, you see this.
Okay. Wow. Where was he a second ago?
As you traverse through the road, you are suddenly stopped by the ground shaking. A T-Rex stops you, and here is where the movement sensitivity comes into play. But again, nothing interesting is happened. It's a scripted event, and it is incredibly easy to not move or talk at all. Even worse, I turned off my flashlight right before the event. I wanted to test if it was still working, since they like to randomly deactivate my flashlight, and I couldn't turn it on or I would die. So I missed majority of the visuals. That's purely my own fault, so I'm not blaming the game for that. So another T-Rex pops out from the darkness and they fight. You use this chance to run back into the underground complex. You go through the checkpoint and turn a corner. There, you find bolt cutters. Yeah, all that for some bolt cutters. Anyways, you cut the chain and head into the elevator. Once the doors open, you enter the first floor of the complex. We explore and find a document detailing how to create the super mega death chemical. We need 2 chemicals named X and Y, a binder, a test tube, and access to the synthesizer machine. So we set off on our adventure to find the ingredients for this mega death sauce. You go through a vent and end up in the dormitory. You go into a dorm room and see this. You also find a document telling about how Dave created something super scary and dangerous called the MARP-1. I don't know what this stands for. They never tell us. We also find a level 2 keycard so that we may access the rest of the complex. For now, you go through the checkpoint and explore more of the complex. You eventually get to another elevator taking you to floor -1, which is somehow different from the floor 1 you were just on. So the game tells you that the X chemical is located on this floor. You also find a computer log that tells you that they made the dinosaurs bulletproof. For some reason. It continues on to say that they will use this progress to create the ultimate life form. For some reason. You continue on and find the raptor pen. You go to the control room and find a computer log telling you that they also made pterodactyls. You find the X chemical and press the emergency door release. However, doing this summons pterodactyls in the room immediately somehow. You would expect they would fly around and harass you, but you'd be wrong. It walks. Not flies, walks right past you. And that's it. You don't ever see them again. You continue on and find the test tube and the synthesizer machine. You can't use it yet, so you carry on into another raptor area. The raptor is back in here for more bad stealth. He walks into a room, looks into it forever, and you just have to walk behind him. You enter another room and get a level 3 keycard. You enter the checkpoint and leave. Once you get back to the first floor, you enter another checkpoint and go down another elevator. You exit the elevator and end up on floor -10. You carry on and enter this room. There's technically a correct way to go, but I accidentally went the wrong way and...
My bad, bro.
So you go through this checkpoint and have to turn off these lasers that are only present here. These sure would have been useful to stop all of the dinosaurs from getting loose. But I digress. You have to venture through this enclosure until a noise suddenly stops you in your tracks. Now, I'm not going to spoil what is in here yet, but for those of you who do know, how is this thing possibly hiding? You go into the control room and turn off the lasers to the exit. You also find out that the enclosure you were just in belongs to a DINOSAURS. Now, this is actually pretty cool. Therizno is not a common dinosaur I typically see get the spotlight, so when I learned that it would be in the game, I got excited to see how it would get utilized. The answer is not at all. The game treats it like it's a silent and stealthy killer, but the thing is 16 feet tall. How does it even fit in this room? And spoiler, similar to the Spino or Rex, it never directly attacks you. It only shows up in scripted events. So you exit the room and...
Okay.
Genuine question. Where is this thing hiding? It's not small, and it makes a lot of noises. Where is it going every time I enter the room? You carry on and find a checkpoint you need to enter in the future. You move past it, and...
Where the fuck did he come from? Where the fuck did he come from? Dude, where... What? What? Dude, where did he come... Dude, that's solid rock. And he's big. Where did he come from? What? Man...
It really is a problem when my main reaction to what should be a really cool dinosaur inclusion is just asking how it even fits into the game. You find a note telling about how the diffusion machine is on floor -18. Past the checkpoint, we can't enter. The machine takes whatever chemical it's given and spreads it everywhere. So we continue on and find a dead guy who attempted to create the Mega Death Sauce, but died. You get the Y chemical and the level 4 keycard. You press a button down to the next room and... Okay, this is really where the problems with this game shine. The game has not only directly told you, but also shown you that these raptors are damn near completely blind and deaf. They can only see directly in front of them, and the only way to get past them in this hallway is to get directly near them. How does he not see me? I accidentally stood about 6 feet away from one in the dark, and it killed me. But all of a sudden this guy has no sense of me at all? I am really trying to give this game the benefit of the doubt, with it being an indie game made by a small team and all, but this just goes against everything you have already previously established. It's like if in the middle of Jurassic Park, Alan Grant goes, "Oh, never mind, the T-Rex can't see us, we can just walk past her." This took me out of the game so bad that I never got back in it. You go to the reactor room and grab the binder. You also get the code to the checkpoint leading to floor -18. Somewhere along the way I got confused and ended up going somewhere that was the complete opposite way of where I needed to be. It is my fault, but I was just so frustrated with the game at this point that I was just done.
I'm about to fucking pull my dick out and piss all over this fucking game, bro. I swear to God. I'm about to fucking spread my ass cheeks apart and shit all over my fucking monitor, dude. Fuck you, dude.
So you go back to floor -1, go to the synthesizer machine, and make the Mega Death Soup. You put everything in and watch nothing happen. Now you have to go back to floor -18 and get to the diffuser machine. And this is exactly what I was talking about with the codes. You enter the complex, you go down an elevator, grab a chemical, get a key card, go back to the complex, enter a checkpoint, go down another elevator, grab another chemical and the key card. Find another elevator that you will have to go down later. Go back to the complex, enter the previous elevator, go to a machine, sneak back to the elevator, return to the complex, go back to the elevator that you were just at and enter the elevator you found all that time ago. The gameplay gets so boring and repetitive very fast. I know there's probably not a lot you can do with a story like this, but you don't need to stretch out the gameplay this much. This could have been a quick hour-long play, but you constantly have to go back and forth between the same environments. The city level was the most interesting, purely because I wasn't in the exact same environment every single time I needed to go do something. So finally, you go down to level -10 a final time and make your way to level -18. However, one of the raptors has decided to do its job and walk around. Do you see how far away this guy noticed me? Why didn't he see me when I was right in front of his face? So you continue on and finally make it to the checkpoint. You take the elevator down and once again... What is the point of him attacking? We are never in any real danger when he shows up, so what is the point of keeping him in here? You make it to floor -18 and you are informed that this is where the so-called ultimate life form is located. You find a note telling you that you have to go to another room to find a fuse and then find the fuse room so the chemical doesn't kill everybody. Why isn't the extra fuse in the fuse room? I don't know. So you continue down the hallway and...
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's back. So you get a glimpse at the MARP, but it's only the backside. You venture some and ultimately find Dave's dead body. Now this would imply that Dave has been dead the whole time. But he talked to us earlier. So he died somewhere between when he spoke to us and now. But why? If you're going to show that he's been dead the whole time, why have him speak? Why have him tell us that we'll be seeing him? Why say something when you're not going to follow through with it? So you carry on and eventually find out, yes, Dave did in fact have your dad killed. Gameplay was so repetitive that I completely forgot that it was even a part of the story. We find another computer log that informs us that a train is ready to take us away from the complex after we unleash the Mega Death Soup. It also casually drops that the MARP is made out of dinosaur and human DNA. Yeah, the MARP is a hybrid. So we carry on and go back to the hallway where the MARP is, and here we come face to face with the ultimate life form.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that, dude? What is that? That's nothing. That's a glob of meat. That's a texture. I'm fighting a walking texture.
So yeah, the so-called ultimate life form, human dino hybrid and deadliest dinosaur in this complex, is a glob of meat with 3 jaws for some reason. I will get back to the MARP eventually, but for now let's focus on ending this game. You eventually get to the liquid filtering room, grab the fuse, and now you have to bad stealth your way back to the fuse room. I died so many times here. I tried to sneak past the MARP like I did every other dino. I used my exact method, and I died. He can spot you from a decent distance, and his walk is faster than your crawl. He also seemingly has a random path. I thought, wow, this sure is challenging. Surely this is intentional and not just bad game design, right? No. The game has this sound meter to track your noise level, but I got so tired of sneaking around this thing that I just decided to run and not care if it finds me. But the sound meter doesn't track your footsteps. I could have been moving so much faster this whole game, but I was sneaking because I thought this feature would work. He also runs way slower than your run. You make your way back to the fuse room, put the fuse in the breaker, and now you just have to make your way to the diffuser. And I did. I opened the door and diffused the Mega Death Soup. I made a run for it to the subway, and got greeted with this ending. I think my initial thoughts speak for themselves.
Why not? Why wasn't it 100%? Oh. In memory of Tommy, rest in peace, sweet prince. Why wasn't it 100% effective? What went wrong? What went wrong? Why wasn't it effective? What was the issue with what we did? Why didn't it work? Did some of the dinosaurs evolve that quickly? Did they mutate? Were they feeding them stuff that allowed them? Did whoever was the good guy, the bad guy that did all this, did he put something in there that made them not all immune? Or made some of them immune to the chemicals so that his work would live on? I don't know, bro.
And that was Unknown Tapes, a game that promised a lot but didn't deliver at all. Now, I was very critical of this game the entire video. However, I don't think it's the worst game of all time. I would rate it a 5 out of 10. The game is a very cool concept. It also starts off with pretty creepy ambience and premise, but it quickly falls apart. The game's main issue is that it introduces a bunch of concepts that it never follows through on. The game has raptors that can only see what is in front of them, but it always makes you encounter them in wide open spaces, and even when it does make you encounter them in tight spaces, it's completely useless. The game has Dilophosauruses that can hear extremely well, but it never makes anything you do have any sound level, and they're always stationary, never patrolling. The game has an Allosaurus that is completely invisible in the dark, but it only shows up once and you are able to use your flashlight. The game has Carnotauruses that are extremely sensitive to light, but it makes you encounter them in a well-lit up area where you do not need your flashlight. The game tells you that multiple compies in a group are dangerous, but it never showcases that. The game tells you that the pterodactyls are dangerous from above, but you encounter them in a closed space and they walk. The game is a T-Rex that can see any subtle movement, but it never makes you encounter them in actual gameplay. The game has a Spinosaurus and Therizinosaurus that it never properly utilizes. You encounter both in completely scripted events. The game builds up this ultimate life form dinosaur, but it has no unique abilities. It has regular vision, no sound sensitivity, no light sensitivity, no movement sensitivity, no dark pigmentation. It's regular sized and it just walks around. On to the topic of the MARP. This is an incredibly disappointing dino. Why does it have no skin? Why was it stored in a wall? Why was it made at all? The game told me that it was a hybrid mixed with human DNA, and I was kind of expecting something out of Alien Romulus. Could you imagine how terrifying it would have been to have a humanoid dino figure chasing you throughout the halls? The game also could have combined the dinos to make the abilities work better. Imagine having an Allosaurus and Carnotaurus in one area. You have to have your flashlight on to see the Allo, but you can't shine it at the Carno or else it will be attracted to you. What about the Rex and the Raptor? You have to stay still when the Rex is right near you, but you still have to be on the move from the Raptor. How about putting the Spino, Therizino, or Compy in the game? I won't get after the devs so much because this is only their second completed game. I know this game was made with love and effort, so I can't fault it for that. My main criticism is don't be so ambitious. The grand scale of this game is out of your skill level to be good. Now, of course, I can't make a game, so I'm not saying I would be better, but I am saying that you were trying to do too much without knowing how to do it. The other games you created were platforms, roguelites, and bullet hells. This is your first linear level game, and it shows. You have a good concept, and you also did some things in this game well. The initial ambience was actually scary, and I was unnerved. The dinosaur abilities are also very unique, and if implemented well, could be very fun and challenging to overcome. I will say, just keep doing what you're doing, and it will all fall into place. Hello, and Merry
Late
Christmas to everyone. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'll try to be more consistent in 2025, so expect way more content from me. Please show some support to Travertine Games. I know I was very critical of their game, but they still do deserve the support. Developing games is not easy, and I respect them for trying their best with the concept. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and ring the bell notification so you get notified whenever I upload. Make sure to share with your grandma, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Jakub out.